But
I think it's a bit dismissive, isn't it, to have that kind of attitude?
It is, in fact. Yeah.
I mean, when you're not, I mean, I'm not an artist. I wouldn't even pretend to be. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I can't draw to save my life. I can just about draw a straight line. When the tailor says draw a shirt, I'm like, I'm lost. I can't get the collar right with the armhole, and the armhole's off from the cuff, and the cuff's off from the waistline. I mean, it's a disaster. And my mother's an artist. I mean, she's an architect. She can draw. She can sketch till the world, comes to an end. I can't do this to save my life, so don't even bother. But the point I'm trying to make is I think it's hugely arrogant of people who are not actually in the creative process, assuming that the creative process is somehow easy for those who are blessed, which is not often the case. I mean, you have to work just as hard, and certainly you have to be, probably, I'm guessing, you have to work quite hard to make yourself, to present yourself to society. Am I right?
Yes, to make people understand that this is as valid as drawing trees and landscapes or figures, and it is art. It is art at the end of the day. It is not something like which your grandkid could do.
No, not my 5-year-old, please. Thank you very much. What about you, Sonia?
No, I totally agree with him. And people are realizing that it's not a very easy profession to even go into. For me, that's what I feel. Because it's still not accepted properly.
But it's also probably not hugely financially remunerative in the beginning either, is it?
Yes,
so you're living out of pocket all the time,
It is not.
If my mother's story is anything to go by, those oil paints can wipe you out. They're so expensive. And, and the palettes and the brushes and the cost of the brushes with the bezel hair bristles and all the rest of it. Anyway, we need to go to break, but hold your thought, because we're going to come back for more, so stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. Now, really what Dhiraj and Sonia are here doing today is doing just a quick comparative analysis of the art scene in India and in Pakistan. So let's hear some more. Now, we were talking about abstract art and we were talking about sort of acceptability, social acceptability about the work that you do. What about politics? Does politics influence your work?
The act of drawing or painting or using a medium to express yourself is largely a political act.
Oh, really? Why do you say that?
Because you, as an artist, you transgress a lot of set ideas, opinions. You break out. So the act of creation is breaking out of a mold or whatever.
Okay.
For me personally, I think this is the definition of an artist for me. So if you are taking on an artistic or creative enterprise, you are essentially engaging yourself in politics, whatever that may be.
Okay, interesting. Sonia, what do you say?
No, I do agree with him. And taking Pakistan as an example, like every other industry in the country, this I feel is also really, really hurting, even though people are becoming more aware of art, the avenues to show your art, or like people to help you out to show your art or to sell your art, that politically it really affects, I feel.
Are you emotionally disturbed by what you see happening today?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Does it reflect in your work?
Yeah, my work actually started off after the October 2005 earthquake.
Oh, that's when it triggered a chord in you.
And that's what triggered off a very different side of my work, where I became more interested in texture and the idea of like mass destruction, and which made me think a lot, because I feel that really changed my life. I was in Islamabad at that point.
Oh, so you were really
and it really, really did shake me a lot, and I saw how that affected my work.
What about you, Dhiraj? Any sort of pivotal points or moments in your life?
No, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't pinpoint a certain point that this is what started a chain reaction. But yes, a lot of times what happens is when you've made a canvas, made a work, when you look at it from a distance, you look at it as a viewer, as the audience. I personally find some of my works very disturbing. I can't sleep after looking at my work for some days.
I think I have to look at these now. I have to get first-hand knowledge of this.
So, yes. Sometimes with me, it's also very subconscious. I may not be engaging in a aftermath dialogue with which starts off from a particular incident, but it has affected me, and I've internalized that factor in, and then I'm just putting it on canvas, and then when I look back and see,
it sounds like you're translating it onto some kind of a medium.
It is
by which you can express it. It is a kind of translation.
Yeah, I feel it's like you're creating a document. It's for the viewer to decipher what you're painted surface what your document means. That's
or the imprint means,
Yeah.
or whatever it is that you've done. Inspirations. I mean, all of us are inspired by various things in life. I mean, you might be inspired by a particularly glorious looking autumn leaf. You could be inspired by a female or a male that you find exceptionally beautiful, or a work of embroidery which just staggers you with the size of the little tiny stitches and so on. I mean, anything that you see can be inspirational in triggering a chord or a response inside you. What would you say your main inspirations for the both of you?
The abstract expressionism movement, which was there in New York, was a big inspiration, because what those guys were doing was really out of the box.
So what were they doing?
Very
Or
similar to
shouldn't I
what my
ask?
work is like.
Okay.
Very similar to what her work is like.
Okay.
Actually, I'm paraphrasing it, of course. What Jackson Pollock said, that the time we're living in is not really a time to draw pictures and paint figures, because everything, the photography has come into the way, and it's
It
really
has.
bringing in
In a big
images to
way.
people.
In a big way.
So you don't need art which really says so literally.
Oh, I
You
see.
need
what
a
you're
lot of. You need the emergence of form out of a lot of chaos on
I was
canvas.
going to say, I think you need to express emotions, if I understand this correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or express a state.
State of
A
being.
state of
Yes.
condition, or
And
a state of being,
mind,
or a
yeah.
state of
Yes.
mind,
Yeah.
as opposed to the figurative reality of what you see, because
Yes.
there's enough of that being
Yeah, because
reproduced
it's then
anyway.
you're like illustrating things for the viewer.
Well, we've got the media to do
Yeah.
that. We've got news reports. We've got,
In fact,
presumably
there's
that's what you mean.
A friend of mine in Delhi who also does similar abstract stuff. So a lot of people tell her, we don't understand abstract art. So she turns around and says, I don't understand figurative art. So,
Why not? I mean, hey, each to his own. It works for you, it works for you. Why not? Anything particularly local to your areas, or that inspired you? I know you said the earthquake, but a particular item. An earthquake was an event.
Yeah.
But something, as I was saying, any particular thing.
the inspiration or what has affected me is actually very recent. It's more of a global phenomenon. The whole connectivity.
This whole
thing.
financial thing?
No. The way we are connected in the world right now, everything and everywhere, the speed of connection.
Connectivity.
Yes, that has affected.
Is
me
it
because-
frightening? Do you find it frightening?
No, actually, I quite enjoy the speed. I quite enjoy, because a lot of new stuff will come out of this speed and this ease that we have
So
now.
you like the fiber optic cables running around the world?
Yes, around my head.
And
as
you,
well.
and you don't want them breaking up in the oceans and us not getting sort of like e-connections for 48 hours.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
disturbing to
It's,
you.
I'm so used to it. I would die.
Maybe next one of the abstract arts you paint could be about the fiber optic cables which now run
Absolutely.
around the world's
I
seabeds.
may use it
Because that's
in-
what it
in a
is.
work, yes.
You know, it is. It's a whole bunch of cables. I mean, cables
Yeah.
about this big, lying at the bottom of the
Ocean.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like bottom of the ocean. I mean, that's really how we're connected now. We don't realize it. We are physically connected. We think of it as being ethereal, but there are physical connections that make that happen. So yes, you're right that the world is very connected. Any particular artists? Let me ask you. You on the Indian side and you on the Pakistani side that have influenced you or inspired you? Either of you?
I wasn't very familiar with Pakistani art before.
You are
I came
now.
here. Now I am.
You are now.
But like I have liked works of Parvez Ahmed
Okay.
and Gulji
Yes. He's a
and
very fine.
Sadikan.
Of course, Sadiq.
Yes.
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 What about you, Sonia? Anyone on the other side?
I'm not very familiar with Indian artists, but as artists in general, you learn every day from one another. So, but I'm a big fan of Dhiraj's work now.
That's very noble. That's very noble. That's very noble. You know, I said I don't really understand people who get arrogant about other people's work, about artwork, because there is a creative process involved. Do you think that art in our respective countries is elitist? And that's a loaded question, I know.
Can I answer it?
Yeah.
Someone's like, yes, please answer.
ahead.
Quick. Take the pressure off me. I live here. I don't want to have to deal with this one.
I don't want to ruffle feathers. I think the appeal of art is limited to a certain group of people who understand it and who really want to penetrate it.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, what is popular art or what is in the popular imagination seen as artful or creative is. I mean, TV is also artistic, and films are as well.